Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, man. Just want to talk about the fights that took place over the weekend, man. All these heavyweight fights. I don't really expect nobody to show up to this live stream, man. So instead of editing a video and trying to make videos about, because there was literally about 10 heavyweight fights this past weekend, man. So Mark Wonderlink was good, man. Just a quick live stream. Not expecting many people to show up since it's just a spur of the moment. BC was good. BC says laugh out loud. I'm up. All right, so yeah, man, like I was saying, instead of me trying to do 10 different videos over the weekend, man, what I did was I just waited till all the fights were over with, and I was able to watch all the heavyweight fights and kind of just consolidate all that news and everything I watched into one little video. And live stream is the best way for me to do it right now. All right, so I'm gonna get right into it, man. And for those of you that will be joining me later on archive, appreciate you showing up. All right. Um, DOG215 was good. He says, "What's good, Mr. Boxing today? I was at the Dubois fight ringside." Oh, that's what's up, man. I should follow. I wonder if I follow you on Instagram. I'm not really on Instagram like that. Did you get any footage? Did you record anything? I think I follow you on Instagram. I'm not sure. All right, but before I get to the fights, let me say this. Next weekend is going to be a crazy weekend too, man. So I'll probably do exactly the same thing I did for this past weekend, for this upcoming weekend, because there's going to be a slew of heavyweight fights. You got Chisora, Spilka, Price, and Allen, and then you got the Rivas versus Dillian White, and there's a couple more fights. A Jagba, Demareezan is fighting. It's going to be a good fight. Two undefeated Olympians. Even Oliver McCall. Yes, Oliver McCall is still fighting, man. He'll be fighting this weekend. Even Chaz Witherspoon is still fighting. He'll be fighting this weekend as well. Tomorrow, no, is it? Yeah, tomorrow. Trey Lippy Morrison, I believe he's in Costa Rica. He's gonna have a fight in Costa Rica. Um, yeah, weird fight on a Wednesday, man, out there in Costa Rica. So I'll be keeping out on that result, see if the footage gets uploaded on the internet. You know what I mean? But let me get to this, man. Now let me start off with oh, before I get to the fights, one more thing. Erkin Tepper and Herb Hubo, they're talking about that fight supposed to be in play. I believe for sometime next month. I did read that. And Herkovic versus Mario Heredia. All right. Now you guys know how I feel about Philippe Herkovic. I think 2015 when I did my first video on him when he was an amateur, I predicted that he will be a heavyweight title holder one day. All right. So we'll see. Fast forward 4 years later. He is an up and coming prospect that everybody is talking about. Some people, they're not completely sold on him. But I think he's the goods, man. Back when I seen him as an amateur, to me, kind of fights out of that uh, Klitschko-esque type of style. All right. Um, Scott 70 says, when is Timothy Mayhem fighting? I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure, but if you do know, please leave it in the chat. You know what I mean? I'll go ahead and talk about it. But I'll probably look up when he's going to fight, and when I go live again, I'll probably put it out there. But shouts out to Timothy Mayhem, man. Well, all right, now Joyce versus Jennings. Let me get to it because there's a lot of fucking fights, man. I don't got that much time. All right, uh, Joyce versus Jennings. Yo, look, man. I understand that Joe Joyce has always been, when it comes to hand speed, he's always been on the slower side. And I know he's durable. I know he's tough. I know he's big and he's in shape and things of that nature, man. I know he has a lengthy amateur career, but yo, man, it literally seems like Joe Joyce is getting slower by the fight. You know what I mean? Uh, and I understand they're trying to, now listen to the fight. They were comparing Joe Joyce to like George Foreman type of style when Big George was out there. I mean, I get what they're saying by the way he just wings those left and right hooks, but Big George punched way harder than him, proven to have a better chin. I mean, obviously, George Foreman's a greater fighter, but I understand the style resemblance. But to me, he didn't have the jab that Big George had, along with some other things, man. But I thought the Jennings fight was. I mean, I thought Joyce won the fight. I thought there were some rounds where neither guy really did anything. Jennings hurt him in that. Was it the first round? The second round? I forget. It was either the first or second with a body shot, a hook to the body. I believe it was a left hook to the body. and Joyce was hurt for about a good 30 seconds, if I can remember correctly, man. And I don't know if Jennings just didn't notice it, or maybe he just couldn't get around the fact that Joyce was lowering that elbow, covering up his side, which I thought that maybe Jennings should have, through combinations and then ended it with a left hook to the body instead of trying to go left hook to the body, left hook to the body. He knows you're trying to attack his body again. So maybe Jennings did realize it, now that I think about it, but he didn't go about it in a way to where he could have got back and got to that spot again on Joyce's body. Thought he should have threw in combinations more. Thought he should have used his hand speed more. Not that Jennings is the fastest guy, but I think he's a lot faster than Joyce. You know what I mean? But Joyce just grinding him down, man, just plodded forward. Man, he is just so slow offensively. Jesus Christ, man. I was sitting there watching, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, left hook, right hook. Here comes the left hook again. I mean, even my wife was saying to me, is like, oh, this is that slow dude, huh? And I'm like, yeah, babe, this that slow dude, because she, watched pretty much all the fights with me, man. But he did what he had to do, man. But Jesus Christ, that dude is slow. Jennings, man, he, I guess it's easier said than done, man. But I thought there were times in the fights where he could have pressed forward a little bit more. It looked like he was trying to catch Joyce in between his shots, which is a good game plan to have, man. But if you're not right there with the counter shots, you're not really going to be able to get off. Then you're going to just be waiting, and while you're waiting, Joyce is swinging. You know what I mean? I thought, yeah, somebody just brought it up. BC said he thought that Jennings needed to step it up, but he didn't. Yeah, man, I thought he could have put more pressure on, because there's one thing about Jennings, he is in good shape. You know what I mean? I know people, I was seeing comments on some of the, on other post fights, people saying that Jennings runs out of gas. I mean, he had a lot in the tank when he fought Klitschko towards the end of their fight. You know what I mean? I don't think he necessarily, with the Rivas fight, he started to run out of gas a little bit, but it's when you put that pressure on him. But I thought he could have moved and used his jab, and he could have did some other things, man, against Joyce. But credit to Joyce, he did what he had to do. It's not his fault that Jennings didn't, step on the gas per se, whatever. But did what he had to do, grind it out. I thought it was close, just because there were some rounds where both guys were doing much or nothing. You know what I mean? Daniel Dubois versus Nathan Gorman. Dubois got him out of there. Gorman just didn't have the firepower. Now his whole game plan was to land that check left hook. All right, he was landing it here and there, but Dubois was just pretty much walking through it. I think Dubois want to see a little bit more head movement from him. You guys know how I feel about head movement. You guys, rest in peace to Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker, man. For you guys been following me, you guys, the example I always use of guys saying that they don't have to be Pernell Whitaker, but at least move your head. I always use Pernell as that example, man. So and that wasn't by chance or anything like that, man. But Sweet Pea was one of the guys I grew up watching. As far as non-heavyweights, one of my favorite fighters to watch. That's why I always use him as an example all the time. You know what I mean? I could use a lot of other fighters as far as their defensive abilities, but I'll always use Sweet Pea, man. So rest in peace to him. All right. But yeah, man, I want to see, Gorman, or not Gorman, but Dubois move his head. Again, he doesn't have to be Sweet Pea, you know what I mean? But at least move his head a little bit more. But he was just walking through those shots. Gorman was landing some good check left hooks. I do like the fact that when Gorman was getting pressed and was getting busted up by right hands, his instinct was to fight back. You dig what I'm saying? So I'll give him credit for that. His instinct wasn't to lay down. It wasn't to fold. It wasn't to put the high guard up and let you just tee off. He was trying to wing left hooks, but it came so predictable. It was like, oh, he's in trouble. Here comes a left hook. I was calling it. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys were calling it as you were watching it. Like, oh, he's buzzed. Here comes a left hook. It was almost predictable. Then he was doing his thing with the left hook where he was throwing the left hook and he was turning like this and just leaving himself open, where it was like, dude, if you miss that left hook, another right hand's going to counter you. And he couldn't get out the way on the left hands. The cut was caused by a punch. He just got beat up, man. He got knocked down. A cut was caused by a punch, and then he went down again from a right hand that took him off his feet. Was at the 5th round. Just outgunned. Just completely outgunned, man. The things that I thought could work for Gorman just didn't work. On the inside, I thought he would have his way, because I thought he had faster hands up and close, and I thought he'd be able to work the body. He did a lot of head hunting. He was throwing some shots, but Dubois was slipping some of them, man. A lot of times Gorman was having like his head down and he was turning away from punches. I almost thought like he didn't even know where he was throwing some of the punches because his face was turned away from his opponent a lot of the times. You know what I mean? But but yeah, Dubois went in there and did what he had to do, man. He just beat him up. He was just too, and he, to me, Dubois was a lot more physical on the inside than I think Gorman was anticipating. You know what I mean? Because he was trying, he was bullying him around a little bit there too, man. Let me see who just joined. Oh, my man, Brooklyn Child Boxing Talk. What's good, bro? He says, we're good, OG. I'm eating crow from the weekend. I had Jennings and Gorman. Oh, yeah, you eating a lot of crow, bro. Um, but I can understand going into both fights, man. The Jennings fight, not so much. I was going with Joyce. I did think Jennings has the ability to beat a guy like Joyce, but the Gorman fight was the one where I really thought it was 50-50. And Dubois went in there, and besides the first round, after that, it was all Daniel Dubois. You know what I mean? All right, let's go to the next fight, man. So I covered Joyce, Jennings, Dubois, Gorman, Helenius, Gerald, Washington. This was a good one. Yo, Gerald needed this, man, because because once upon a time he was an undefeated up and coming prospect guy, right? So he lost to Wilder, lost to Miller, lost to Konowski. He was able to beat John Wesley, No Fire, guys like that. But then he needed this victory, man, especially against Robert Helenius. He needed a victory against a guy like this, somebody with experience, a big fighter. I thought Helenius at times in the fight was doing a good job by landing his jab first, landing his jab right hand first. He was just quicker. It's like he was beating Gerald to the punch, but Gerald to me is the better, just natural all around athlete, and it showed. He just outwilled him, man. Looked like he just had more left in the tank. Landed a good right hand on Helenius. Helenius couldn't recover, man. He went down hard. He just couldn't recover. But Gerald definitely needed that victory, man. He definitely needed that one. Let me see here. Yep, I agree, Scott 70. So that's pretty much it on that, man. There was a good right hand that landed on Helenius. He went down, head hit the ropes, and then he didn't get up. Thought it was close going down the stretch. Thought it was a close fight. I'm hearing people say, oh, their stamina. Like, look, man, you have 250, 260-pound dudes up in there, y'all. Like, some of these heavyweights aren't going to have the stamina of welterweights and lightweights, man. Like, these are big dudes in there. Yes, you're going to have some heavyweights that are sprinkled in there that have very good stamina, but that's going to be far in between, man. Like, and I do understand, back in the day, guys going 15 rounds and, things of that nature, even when they were going more than 15 rounds. I totally understand that. But with these today big guys, man, these 260-pound, 250-pound dudes, they get tired. The key thing is, though, is can you fight when you're tired? It's not going to look pretty. Yes, they're going to be, breathing heavy and slobbering over each other and grabbing and holding and things like that. But you got to be able to control the pace and the tempo while you're tired, being able to fight tired. Larry Holmes was great at being able to fight tired. There's a lot of other fighters. I'm just bringing up Larry because thinking him on top of my head. You know what I mean? But all right, next fight, man. Tony Yoka versus Alexander Dimitrenko. He stopped him in the third round. Yoka was aggressive in this one. You know what I mean? Yoka was aggressive. He was putting the high guard. He just pretty much stalked Dimitrenko. We all know what it is about Dimitrenko. Once you get physical with him, Dimitrenko does this thing, man, where he just like kind of willingly would just end up on the canvas somehow, some way. Whether it's because a guy threw him on the canvas or pushed him, or if you guys watch Dimitrenko, you know what I'm talking about, man. Where he just finds ways to like fall down on the canvas, or when he goes down, it takes him a while to get up. I don't know, man. He gets real sluggish, and it seems as if you can take his confidence away when I watch Dimitrenko, man. But then I've been wrong when I watched him too, right? I thought Adrian Granat was gonna blow him out, and he blew Adrian Granat out in a round. All right, Granat was an up and coming prospect some years ago. All right, but to this fight, Yoka was aggressive. He stalked him, used his jab, was waiting to land the right hands and left hooks. He just walked him down, man. Dimitrenko really didn't have nothing to offer. Fight straight up, pumping out a slow jab at times. Yoka did what he had to do. You know what I mean? Dimitrenko is just more of a gatekeeper at this point, a gatekeeper with a better record than, some of the guys that have, multiple losses, or not multiple, but double-digit losses. But at this point, man, Dimitrenko is just a guy you want to get in there, get some rounds against. He's a big guy. He does still carry a punch, but yeah, you know what I mean. Guys like Dimitrenko, Marius Wach. You could probably add Helenius to this list as well, man. I'm not saying because he lost to Gerald, but including the loss to Gerald, even his fights against that guy Huey, I always forget this dude's last name, but it's the journeyman that he had the two back-to-back fights with recently within the last like 2 years. Once I've seen those fights, man, and I know he's always have injuries, you can add Helenius to the list of guys that probably fought for a world title. Once upon a time was a up and coming contender. Once upon a time, but at this point, man, these guys are going to be recycled over and over. You know what I mean? Like a Ustinov, they're going to start being recycled, man. So, I think it's a decent win for Yoka. It's better than fighting just a complete Joe Blow. You know what I mean? Huey Fury versus Samuel Peter, man. This was just an ugly ass fight. Um, Peter tried to come out and huff and puff and blow the house down. It didn't work. Hitting behind the head, holding, grabbing. This is a 260-pound Samuel Peter. This isn't the Sam Peter that we seen knock out Jeremy Williams unconscious or go in there and give it all he got against Klitschko. This ain't the who next Samuel Peter. All right, this is a 262-pound 2019 version of Samuel Peter. All right, Huey. He did what he had to do. Sam Peter was citing some type of injury to his left arm or something like that. But I think this is what I think, that he noticed that he huffed and puffed, he blew the house, he tried to blow the house down, it didn't work, and he had no gas left. And I think he probably felt he was on the verge of just being stopped, or he just felt as if he didn't have a chance to win, so he just pretty much gave up. That's what I think. All right, um, that's pretty much it on that, man. I know I've seen something Huey Fury saying that he thinks that he's top five. I don't know how he's coming to that conclusion, but he's the fighter, so he's supposed to have that type of confidence. But I don't know what is making him think that. You take what I'm saying? Uh, Ahio, he also picked up a victory. He moves on to 15-0. New Zealand prospect. He beat Ali Kaidine. Um, Easy work, took care of business. You know what I mean? Not really much to say about that one. Jermaine Franklin versus Jerry Forrest, man. Look, I don't know what was so surprising by the Showtime announcers. The Showtime announcers, they're just, flabbergasted, appalled that he was having a hard time when Jerry Forrest. It's like, dude, you got to go watch these guys fight, man. Like, I knew this wasn't going to be no type of easy win for Franklin if he won the fight. He's still an up and coming guy that doesn't have a lot of experience in the amateurs, even though he only had about 30 some fights as an amateur, and he still won the national Golden Gloves. You know what I mean? He actually beat Cam F. Awesome in the finals of the Golden Gloves that year. But yeah, man, sometimes you have to grind out decisions like this. It doesn't look pretty. It doesn't look great. You know what I mean? I think and yeah, BC, you just brought it up. You see, you said, but Showbox matchmaking is usually really good, though. Showbox are biased and terrible. Yeah, man, they thought they was going there and blow Forrest out. I'm like, dude, his only loss, I believe, was to Gerald Washington. He got knocked out with a right hand. I remember watching that fight, or seen it on YouTube, but he got knocked out with a right hand in that fight, man. Um, that left hand was giving Franklin problems. Forrest's left hand was giving him problems. His movements was giving him problems. And he was answering all of Franklin's flurries. It looked like Franklin was going in there trying to throw a quick flurry, trying to walk him down and beat him up, but Forrest was answering it, man. And it seemed like the fight was very close, man. I thought it was close. Some people had Forrest winning. The fight was very close, man, because it seemed as if both guys were just fighting at each other's. It's like nobody took the initiative to just turn it up and keep it turned up. It's like when one guy would flurry, then the other guy would answer back with a flurry. When both guys would walk around and pot shot and just touch and, with the jab, they both did it. And it was a weird fight all around because it's like they turned up, I think it was like the end of the first round or something like that, or the second round. They like went to war. And then the last like 30 seconds of the fight, they went to war as well. So had they kept that type of pace up throughout the whole fight, I'm not sure it would have went to decision, man. But Franklin's a good combination puncher. Probably not the one punch knockout artist. He may be one of those guys, man. We just got to put him in with a Dominic Brazil or Joe Joyce, or just put him in there with them and see what happens. But I don't think he's going to look phenomenal against Journeyman's guy. There are some guys that just don't look all that great against lesser or perceived to be lesser competition. I know it doesn't. Some guys feast on guys like that, but there are some guys they just make workman like performances out of guys like that, man. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, man. I see somebody saying Michael Hunter. I would love to see if you're saying Michael Hunter versus some of the guys I'm talking about. I would love to see those guys. Um, BC says seems like both are just average heavyweights, not a lot of upside. I can understand what you're saying by that. Um, Kind of looks like they are who they are. You dig what I'm saying? But it could just be one of them situations, BC, where they need to just throw him in with whoever they think is a 50-50 fight on paper, or maybe somebody they think that's probably a favorite over him, and just see what he has. But trying to just sit and wait for him to just look like the next coming of, Joe Frazier or Mike Tyson or, Evander Holyfield, we might not never get that from him, man. You might just have to put him in there and just roll the dice. You dig what I'm saying? Now that's what I think about that fight. On that same card, Otto Wilde was supposed to fight BJ Flores. For those of you that's in the know, that fight got canceled literally within hours of the telecast coming on. Flores, something about his physical. I haven't read much into it afterwards. I didn't do any due diligence afterwards to see exactly what it was. I'm not even sure they put it out exactly what it was. All right, but that was just a showcase fight. You know what I mean? They matched him pretty soft. BJ Flores is way past it, man. Last I heard him and being in the ring, he got dropped multiple times against Trevor Bryant. Got dropped like 5 times, 4 or 5 times against Trevor Bryant, man. So Otto Wallin's not having no luck. He's not having no luck with these with his American debut, man. Uh, Undefeated heavyweight, Swedish prospect, trying to work his way into contender status. His last fight was it the first round ended in a no contest clash of heads. His opponent got a nasty cut, and then yeah, he was on the card with Franklin. You know what I mean? They're pairing these guys up together too. The last 2 cards. So we might fuck around and see a Franklin versus Otto Wallen sooner or later, man. I think that'd be good. But anyways, they put him on this card where Franklin's well, and then hours before the telecast is going to start, BJ Flores said something about his physical. You dig what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, man. So clash of heads in the first round. Opponent got a cut, and then the next fight he has on American soil is you know, he doesn't even get the fight. You dig what I'm saying? So maybe we will see Franklin versus Otto Wallen. I don't know. We'll see how they damn. Let me see here. Turn those damn light. You know what I mean? So maybe they'll try to make that fight. All right. Dychko versus Nate Heaven. Now I haven't seen Nate Heaven or heard of his name since he got beat by Andre Fedosov in the Boxino tournament on ESPN. So it's like they dug this dude out of nowhere, and they had him as an opponent for Ivan Dychko. Dychko was a 2012 and 2016 Olympian. Fought Joshua in the Olympics, things like that. Bronze medal. I think he got a bronze and a silver, or is it 2 bronze? I forget. I think he got 2 bronze or a bronze and a silver. I forget. But he took care of business. Quick victory over Nate Heaven. I had to write this shit down. Man, it was so many damn fights. All right. So yeah, man, that's all I really wanted to get into. Just get my opinion about all these fights. Like I said, instead of giving, doing, 10 videos on 10 different fights, want to consolidate everything into one. Next weekend's gonna be crazy, man. These 2 weekends, this past weekend, this weekend coming up, bro, we getting like 16 semi-meaningful fights. Obviously, it's not the Joshuas and Wilders and Ruiz and things like that, but we're still getting some solid fights, man. And at least on paper, a lot of these fights were 50-50-ish type of fights. Helenius, Washington, Dubois, Gorman. I know it turned out to be a massacre, but going into it, I thought it was even. Joyce, Jennings, and those guys and one thing about those fights, man, that those guys can move forward and possibly look to fight each other. I wouldn't mind seeing Dubois versus Joyce. You dig what I'm saying? I would love to see that fight, man. But that's my opinion on the fight. Next weekend gonna be crazy, y'all. Jagba versus Dimitrenko. Please do not sleep on that one. I think that's an interesting fight. Like I said, White Rivas, Jasura Spilka, Alan Price, Trey Lippy Morrison is fighting on Wednesday. You know what I mean? And then you got the old head Oliver McCall still fighting, and even Chaz Witherspoon is fighting next weekend, man. So those are way under the radar, but good couple weeks of heavyweight fights, man. Loke Dog, what's good, bro? He says, no, I like these fights. It doesn't has to be Joshua and Wilder. Of course, yeah, exactly, man. That's why I like talking about them. But you know, some fans would draw a lot of fans to the division is the high profile names. You dig what I'm saying? But while there's the high profile names, there's always dudes on that underground level that's trying to work their way up, man. Because once upon a time, it was guys like Wilder who was on the come up. Joshua was on the come up. You dig what I'm saying? Even though they pushed Joshua fast, but you guys get what I'm saying, though. You get the gist of what I'm talking about. All right, y'all. Quincy Pinola was good. Loke Dog just saying what's up to y'all, man. I gotta jump off, man. LDB Facts, what it do? Double A Boxing and Blunts was good, bro. He says, who next? Who next? Yeah, man. Sam Peter was a beast back in like that 04, 05 ish, 06 when he was sparking dudes out. Although I think James Toney beat him in that first fight. I'm not gonna lie. Now I thought he convincingly beat James in the second fight. Even knocked James down with a damn jab, man. Flash knockdown though. But yeah, I thought JT beat Sam Peter in that first fight. It was the only fight ever that I watched the James Toney ever in his whole career. Even it is days before he moved up to heavyweight. It was the only time I ever thought there was a possibility of him getting knocked out. Even when he fought Rockman, I still didn't think Rockman was going to get him. But when he fought Sam Peter, it was just something about, you guys know how it is, man, when there's that new, fresh, up and coming knockout artist in the heavyweight division. And that's the feeling I was having going into that fight, man. And JT held his own. I thought he beat him. You dig what I'm saying? But Loke Dog, I'm gonna answer this real quick, bro, and I'm gonna jump off. King U for 206 was good. Yes, he looks very slow. And I talked about it. Damn, it looked like he's getting slower by the fight, bro. Loke Dog, Pac versus Thurman. Who you got? Who am I picking? I'm gonna go with Thurman. Usually in these situations, before I even get down to the style breakdown, but usually in these situations, the younger guy usually wins. Usually. Um, I'm gonna break down that fight. I'm gonna break down the style and everything. I'll probably do a just quick prediction on that one during this week, man. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump off this. But just I'm rolling with Thurman in that one. Big Nick, yes, BC. He's comically slow. Like, bro, like I mean, he's like beyond slow, man. Like, I can't believe how slow Joyce is, man. Like, I'm damn near lost for words, man. And I'm talkative than the motherfucker. Now, bro, he is just slow as shit, man. Like, damn, it's like I was literally sitting there like left hook, right uppercut. Here comes the left hook, and I'm sitting there like, is this just easier said than? Because Jennings was like, sometimes he'll get out of the way of him. Sometimes he was just sometimes he was just absorbing shots. I don't know, man. That shit just looks weird. How slow Joyce is throwing punches, yo. Damn, that dude is slow. All right, somebody asked me about Rivas versus yo. I'm gonna break that down during the week, y'all. I gotta run, man. I appreciate y'all showing up though, man. I'm gone. Be easy.